Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders. Discover what's possible when people impacted by autism inspire change and build community. Together with the Global Autism Project, here's your host, Rachel Harmon.
Hello, everyone. Just a reminder that we're still taking donations for our COVID-19 Partner Relief Fund. Our partners across the globe share our vision of creating a world where every person with autism can reach their potential no matter where they live. They are dedicated to providing access to quality, culturally appropriate education and equal opportunities in their communities. As a result of COVID-19, our partners have shifted their work to support their students remotely, with many of them volunteering their time, and they will continue to do so as long as they can. 100% of your donations to the Partner Relief Fund will go directly to our partners who need it most. You will be supporting internet access for remote teaching, educational materials, and tuition scholarships. As our partners adapt and innovate to meet the urgent challenges presented by COVID-19, we're inviting you today to join us and help create a better future for these children at risk. You can make a donation directly on our website at globalautismproject.org. Our guest today is Maharani Putri Kusuma. Maharani, or Rani for short, is the co-founder and owner of Rumah Tiara, an autism center in Jakarta, Indonesia. She's been receiving training from the Global Autism Project since 2013. So far, we've sent 9 SkillCorps volunteer teams to Rumah Tiara to provide sustainable hands-on training. For this interview, Rani was joined with Vya Mawarni, a former therapist at Rumah Tiara who interpreted from Bahasa to English for us. I want to give a special thank you to Vya for all of the effort she put in to making sure Rani's message was understood. In today's episode, we discuss the level of autism awareness in Indonesia, the stigma associated with the diagnosis, and the types of services available for families. Rani also describes how she became involved in the field and why she loves working with children with autism. Rani talks about some of the challenges she's faced as a business owner, including the ongoing financial struggles resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic. Her staff at Rumah Tiara stay positive, knowing that they're helping children who might otherwise not have access to therapy. Rani reflects on her partnership with the Global Autism Project and reminisces about moments she holds dear from the times she's hosted SkillCorps volunteers. She also explains which aspects of Indonesian culture she is most excited to share with our teams when they visit. In this episode, discover what's possible when perseverance and determination get their feet on the ground and spread awareness one step at a time. For more information about Rani and Rumah Tiara, please visit our show notes at autismknowsnoborders.com. And now, I present you Maharani Putri Kusuma. Hello, Rani and Vya. Welcome to Autism Knows No Borders.
Hi.
Thank you. Hi.
Rani, could you please introduce yourself?
Saya adalah pemilik dari Rumah Tiara.
Hello, everyone. I am Maharani Putri Kusuma. I'm the owner of Rumah Tiara, partner of Global Autism Project.
Thank you. And Vya, could you please introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I am Vya. I used to work in Rumah Tiara, and now I am in Abu Dhabi.
Yes, and Vya will be helping with interpreting from Bahasa to English today. So thank you, Vya.
No worries.
Rani, what is the current understanding of autism in Indonesia?
Kalau untuk kondisi autisme di Indonesia.
Well, the acceptance in Indonesia, especially in Jakarta, has grown so much that people are more aware with autism. There's a lot of growing communities between parents and the educators that are concerned about autism in Indonesia itself. So many information that parents or educators can access about autism. So that is also a good point that is growing and happening in Indonesia. However, because Indonesia is such a large country and it's still developing a lot, outside Jakarta, even like outside Java, it's still very hard and it's quite inaccessible for the parents to get the treatment and information about autism. So that's why a lot of people with autism are struggling to improve their quality of life.
What services are available for families from the point of diagnosis?
Sebenarnya banyak ya tempat terapi.
Well, there are a lot of types therapy that is accessible and available for the family, such as sensory integration, and then occupational therapy, also speech language therapy. However, one of the concerns to access these therapies is it requires a lot of financial. So a lot of families are struggling to get the services for their children because of the amount of money that they needed.
Is the government providing any support?
The government do not provide funding for the families to access these therapies, but recently they've been building a center that integrates with medical center in small towns. However, because the amount of kids that need the treatment is not balanced with the facilities that they provided. So that's why so many kids are abandoned or they are forgotten and they cannot access this treatment until they grown up.
Is there any stigma of autism in Indonesia?
There are a lot of stigma that sticks with the kids with autism, such as it's a sickness that needs to be treated, so it can be cured. Also, that it's an unwanted children. That's what the stigma within the kids with autism among the families and societies. Recently, I've discovered two of my friends, and they have young kids of their own, and they just discovered that their kids might have diagnosed with autism, and they're very anxious of how are they going to grow up, how will they get treatment.
Are there any services available in schools?
There's no specific treatment for the kids with autism at school. However, recently there are a lot of schools that provides inclusion. So they integrate the typical developing kids with autism to study together. However, it's not really productive. That's what I mean with a public school that government provides. That's like a public inclusion school. So we do have a special needs school from the government as well, but they tend to mix different types of special needs children. While we might know that kids with autism need specific treatment for them to be able to understand or like work together in a group classroom. So that's why some of the parents say that it might not work for their kids that have autism.
What's available for adults with autism?
In Indonesia, it depends on the family support. So if the family has a good financial management and then they have good resources for their own kids, usually they will train them to do a vocational training or you can do baking or cooking or like specific work training that they can do for them. But most of the parents in Indonesia cannot really do anything for adults with autism, so they usually ended up doing nothing. They don't have any jobs and they will just stay at home or they might stay in a facility.
Okay. Rani, how did you get started working with the autistic population?
Saya memulai bekerja
I got into this field when I started working in 2011. At that time, I was volunteering in a nonprofit organization in Jakarta for children with special needs. Well, from that experience, I've learned how to teach and how to engage with the kids with special needs and with their challenging behavior. That's my first experience on how I get on with these kids with autism and how I fall in love, basically, with kids with autism.
What exactly do you love about kids with autism?
Aku tertarik sama anak autis.
I got really interested with kids with autism because they have their own world and how they perceive the world and how they think about the world. It's very unique to me. And I also got to know that not many of us are able to communicate what do we want. They are very simple, they don't want anything fancy. It's just very straightforward what they want.
And how did you start Rumah Tiara?
Aku mulai Rumah Tiara itu bareng
I started Rumah Tiara with two of my friends, Angga and Khatik.
Karena kami melihat banyak
because we see that so many kids with autism don't get proper treatment.
Seperti
The first few clients that we got were actually kids that were denied to go to the school because of their behaviors. Or some of them, they've been receiving treatment for years, around 4 or more, but still they don't see any progress for their own kids. Especially with the family that has financial problems or they come from lower economical families, they often really hard to get the treatment accessible for them because they cannot pay the amount of treatment that is very expensive usually, especially in Jakarta. That's how and why we want to build Rumah Tiara, because we want them to get the same treatment with the other kids with autism.
What does Rumah Tiara mean?
Rumah itu artinya rumah.
Direct translation means a house. So a house is a place for a family to live.
Dan tiara itu adalah tiara, like crown. Tiara.
And the direct translation for tiara is crown.
Ya, itu dulu. Jadi Rumah Tiara itu.
So in Rumah Tiara, we want the kids with autism and as well the parents that they feel welcome, like the king and the queen, that we respect them and they're very welcome and accepted by us.
When did you start Rumah Tiara?
Kami membangun Rumah Tiara 2017.
Previously, our center was High Five and it started on 2015. And then we changed into Rumah Tiara since 2017.
And Rani, did you face any challenges along the way?
Ya, banyak. Banyak sekali kesulitan.
Yes, I faced so many challenges. The first one is I do like working with kids and I enjoy it. However, I wasn't really ready to involve in a business manner, doing the management and all of this business stuff. The challenges were I've had to manage the management, financial, and then the human resources as well as the marketing in Rumah Tiara since we started. So we know that we can keep learning and learning. We will learn from this organization of ours and become better eventually.
Could you tell us any success stories related to students?
Mungkin satu cerita yang
Well, there are a lot of success stories that we've had, but now I will share you one.
jadi ada satu anak yang
We have this one student. He's been going to the special needs school provided by the government for a few years. And if you hear his story, it will break any of the teachers' heart because what they've been doing to him is that they tied him up on a chair because he's been escaping from the classroom each time. They have to go to the classroom. So, in order to make him do all the work and attend to the school, they will tie him up on a chair in the classroom.
Wow.
dan dia datang
When he came to us, he was already 12 years old, such a big boy with a big posture,
badan bongsor
and then he barely stands straight, and he has a very aggressive behavior
anak itu ketakutan sekali untuk masuk ke dalam sebuah
because he
kelas.
was so terrified with the classroom. So we were shaping his behavior
Ya, jadi
using an
akhirnya,
antecedent intervention
perlahan-lahan kita ajar
that
dia
we
dan kita bikin
were
tambah
building up
behavior.
his behavior that wanted to stay in our center. So instead of
pertama ngebikin
staying
dia
for
nyaman
the
dulu
full
di
2
center.
hours with other students,
Jadi dia pulang itu yang
he
lainnya
can go
pulang 2
home
jam,
like
dia
in
tuh pulang
30
cuma
minutes
sampai
in the
kayak
first few
30 menit dia udah boleh pulang
days and
sebelum
weeks
dia nangis.
until he got used
Kita
to
pengen
and he's
bikin
comfortable
center
with
tempat yang
the
lebih
classroom
baik.
settings with other students.
Dan itu berlangsung cukup lama sampai akhirnya dia tiba-tiba sadar
In the first few weeks,
dengan nyamannya
he was
masuk dalam
just
kelas,
around
dia
the
duduk
center,
langsung di
like
duduknya di meja
in
gitu ya. Jadi kita
our
kayak
front yard,
banget sama itu.
and he was like
Iya.
he can
Iya,
only
jadi akhirnya
he
dia
can
sendiri.
engage
Jadi
with
kan dia
us,
30
even
menit
like
ya.
he
Kan
can
kita
go to
waktunya
our
pas-pasan,
office,
akhirnya
engage
dia
with the
jam, walaupun
teachers,
kita di luar gitu kan. Dia di luar
as
kelas.
long as we are
Jadi kayak
trying to get
dia gabung
him
sama orang
comfortable
tua gitu
around
kan.
us.
Terus sama
It took us
gabung sama
few
kita,
weeks
nyari
until
tahu
one day
kadang-kadang gitu.
he
Pokoknya dia
was
masuk ke dalam kelas dia deh.
following one of
Parkiran
his
gitu kan, belajar di
peers
sana. Tapi
going inside to the
satu
classroom
kali
by
sih,
himself,
dia yang 1 jam
and
jam
he
dia
was
udah
there laughing with the
oke
other student, and
di
it
center kita,
made us
tiba-tiba
so
entah dari
shocked,
mana gitu kan,
and
dia
we were so
ngikutin
happy at the time
sama
for
dia
him
masuk ke dalam
because
kelas dan akhirnya dia
it
masuk
took
ke
a
dalam
long
kelas
time
terus
for us
ketawa-ketawa
until
gitu
he
kan,
got
walaupun
to
duduknya
where
di
he is
gitu
now.
panjang. Kalau sekarang dia udah bisa 15
Now he can
sampai 20
stay 15
Kalau
to
sekarang ya,
20
sebelum
minutes
COVID.
in the classroom, and that's for us is such a huge improvement for him.
Yeah, and thinking about what doors that will open for him. If then he's able to stay in the classroom for 30 minutes, for an hour, all of the teaching opportunities that can occur while he's there. Also learning from his peers.
Ya, benar sekali. Kita juga yakin dan
Yes,
kita
we
kayak
also hope that
pasti
he's
ada harapan
able
dia
to
bisa
stay longer in the
belajar.
classroom and that he will eventually learn a lot.
How many students do you have at Rumah Tiara now?
Sekarang kita punya
Now we have 17 active students in Rumah Tiara.
Do you offer other types of services other than applied behavior analysis?
ya seperti
Yes, we
remedial
do offer other
rem-
services
remedial
such
belajar,
as remedial services
pendamping
and a
kelas.
shadow teacher.
Mhm. And how do you encourage your staff to follow the mission of Rumah Tiara?
Oke, jadi pertama kali pasti dari sistem
First,
rekrutmennya,
when we are
kita
looking
akan
for
memilih orang-orang yang memang sudah
our
menyayangi
educators, when we're hiring,
anak-anak, dan
we want
perlahan-lahan
the people who already
kita
love
beritahukan
with the
bagaimana
kids and
kondisi
then
dari
know
anak-anak
why is it
yang
important
kita
for the kids
tangani
with autism to get
dan
this
apa
treatment
masa depan yang
and
akan mereka
what the
dapatkan
future will
ketika
be
mereka
for them
bekerja dengan
after
anak-anak.
they get a proper treatment. And
Dan
we
dari
want the educators of
dari
Rumah
semua
Tiara can feel that they become part of
edukasi di
the
Rumah
kids with
Tiara dapat
autism's life.
dirasakan
So
jadi
they're
bagian
not just
dari
like simply a
kehidupan si anak.
therapist, but they are becoming a part of their life, like an important part of their learning.
Mhm. What outreach initiatives have you done to engage your community?
Kayak kita memberitahukan
We outreach to the community around Rumah Tiara and raise their awareness about what is it that kids with autism and special needs. And we also try to share it in our social media through Instagram and sharing the information about autism and what is it actually and how to get the proper treatment for the kids with autism. Sometimes we also go to a local community kindergarten to spend time with the teacher and tell them, oh, these are the symptoms for the kids with autism. And then again, raising awareness of what is autism. And also, there is one day on every week, every Sunday, that we go and people walk around the town. It's a car-free day on Sunday, and we go there with our educators. Again, we are raising awareness on Sunday morning to the people in our community.
How do you engage with the community? Are you going up to people and just talking to them? Are you giving them handouts?
We do approach them and then giving out handouts and brochure about just a simple explanation about what autism is, and then having a conversation face to face with the parents so that they know about our center as well as autism.
Yeah, so you're literally on the ground doing the footwork. I think it's so important also to go to the schools, like you said you did, because it's essential to educate the teachers about autism so that they don't tie up students to chairs if they're trying to escape.
Yeah.
So, Rani, changing topic, almost all of our partners had to shut down temporarily at some point during the last few months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. How has the crisis affected your center?
Ya, Rumah Tiara juga menghadapi tantangan
Yes,
yang sama.
since
Kita juga
the
membentuk
COVID-19
center kita
started,
untuk
we
beberapa bulan
faced the
dari
challenge as well that we had
3 bulan
to
dari
shut
Maret.
down our
Dan
center.
kita mengganti
And
service
now
kita
we've
dengan
changed
service online,
our services
menjadikan orang tua
into
sebagai
teleservices,
guru untuk anak-anak mereka.
which make the parents to be the educator for their own kids.
Dan kita tetap
We do
menjaga
maintain our
hubungan dengan
communication with
parents,
parents and
seperti
then
2 kali seminggu.
2 times supervision each week with the parents.
Kalau dari financial, pasti
Obviously, it reflects on our financial because so many parents have lost their jobs and are struggling to earn for the income, and that also affect our financial. So we predict that they might not be able to pay for the services in the upcoming weeks.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a plan for that?
Iya, pasti. Tapi kita menghadapi ini bersama.
We understand that we are facing this pandemic together and that financial problems is rising in our center.
Kita bersyukur karena edukator kami.
We are really grateful for the educators that we have because they have understanding that yes, this might affecting for their salary as well.
Salary mereka per bulan supaya memang bisa disesuaikan.
But like we know that we are in this together, so I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, and it's also showing your leadership, Rani, because you've been able to keep everyone together and keep their spirits high and stay positive throughout all of this.
Yeah. Well, no,
Well, I feel that I am the one who is the luckiest to have them as my educators.
Mm. Rani, tell us about your partnership with the Global Autism Project.
Yeah. Saya kenal Global Autism Project.
I know Global Autism Project since 2013, and I've been receiving their training every year since they come to our country. And when we built High Five in 2015, we were so happy that Global Autism Project still support us at the time and until now.
Terutama saat kita mengganti nama menjadi Rumah Tiara tahun 2017.
And in 2017, when we changed our name from High Five to Rumah Tiara, again, as an organization, we faced so many problems, and Global Autism Project was there supporting us, giving us consultation. Global Autism Project gives us strength and power that we're going to face this together, and they will always be there for us to support us to keep going and provide the right treatment for the kids.
Do you have any special memories from SkillCorps?
Setiap SkillCorps pasti membawa kenangan-kenangan tersendiri.
Well, every SkillCorps has their own stories each time they visit Indonesia.
Dan memori yang paling aku ingat itu adalah ketika
one of the memorable SkillCorps visit was when we recently changed our name into Rumah Tiara in 2017. It was very memorable to me.
Karena di waktu itu
in that visit, Casey said to me, and from that moment, it stays in my mind that she said Global Autism Project don't work with individuals, but they work and support organizations and support them to be able to provide the right treatment for kids with autism. And Global Autism Project will always support the organization.
Itu kayak ngebikin kayak okay, baiklah kita akan terus lanjutin ini.
And since that, I feel like Rumah Tiara is acknowledged, and that's what makes us keep going.
What part of Indonesian culture do you like to share with the SkillCorps teams when they visit?
Pertama yang pasti makanan.
Yes, I do want to share a lot of Indonesian culture with the SkillCorps team, but mostly it's food because Indonesian foods are delicious and they're very tasty.
Yes, and karaoke, right? I've heard a lot of stories of teams coming back saying they've had so much fun with your staff at karaoke.
Oh, yes, really.
Well, it's because we do know how to have fun together nicely and in a very fun way.
Yeah, I'm actually lucky enough to have shared a karaoke night with you, Rani, and Hotik and Janita. We attended Global Summit together last August in Bali, which was not so far for you being in Jakarta. What was it like for you to spend that week with all of the partners?
Spektakuler. Rasanya amazed banget.
It was very spectacular because in the summit, I had the chance to meet with other business owners partnering with Global Autism Project. And I've come to realize that, like, I'm not alone. Like, there are people who's facing the same thing as me. Because normally in Indonesia, the business owners, they don't share their own things. So it's exclusive to their own organizations. So I don't know what to do. So it was such a great pleasure for me to be able to meet them. And then we discussed so many things and the challenges as a business owners.
Rani, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I'd like to close with one last question. Do you have any advice for parents of children with autism or other business owners?
Untuk orang tua, pesan saya adalah jangan takut ketika
Well, for the parents, I advise that if you have kids with autism or special needs, don't be ashamed, don't lose your hope because, yes, it's tough, but there are many ways for your children to be able to learn, and just don't lose your hope because we will be here supporting you.
Dan untuk pemilik bisnis,
for the business owners, I think it would be great for us to collaborate and to be able to discuss our challenges, because we know that the ratio of the kids with special needs is more than the services that are available. So it would be great if we could work together to provide the right treatment for these kids.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you both so much for your time. And Vya, I just want to really thank you for all of the effort that you put into interpreting from Bahasa to English to Bahasa. I know it's really tiring, but you did a great job. So thank you.
You're welcome. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Rachel, and to talk to Rani as well.
Mm-hmm. And Rani, I'll be seeing you during our monthly partner call.
Okay. Thank you, Rachel.
All right. Take care. Thanks for tuning in to Autism Knows No Borders. Unfortunately, Ronnie's account of a student with autism being tied to his chair in order to increase his learning opportunities is far from uncommon. Even when such measures are well-intended, teachers and caregivers without proper training on how to manage behavioral challenges may often cause serious harm. During my first SkillCorps trip at an autism center in Uganda, I met an 8-year-old boy who had only been receiving services for a couple of months. His smile would reach from ear to ear whenever we would play chase, and he also loved washing dishes after lunch. Although he didn't have much verbal language, he would often repeat a phrase over and over again in Swahili. No one on our team spoke Swahili, so for a few days we wondered what he was saying. Eventually, a staff member translated it for us. It meant, "Are you a dog?" We went on to learn that this sweet boy had been tied to a tree in his yard for most of his life. People walking by would see him and call out, "Are you a dog?" His parents didn't tie him up to be cruel. Rather, they did it out of fear for their son's life. They simply didn't know how to teach him to not run away. There are too many stories like these in places where resources and education about autism are limited or barely existent. The community outreach initiatives at Rumah Tiara are truly inspiring. With each person they engage with on the streets, they're getting one step closer to ensuring that no children with autism are being tied up or mistreated in any other way. The lack of resources and education about autism is not limited to low-income countries. It is also the reality of many areas in the US and Europe. I invite you to share this episode with one other person in your life. Like Rani and her team, let's get on the ground and do the footwork to spread autism awareness. Thanks for listening. Take care. You've been watching Autism Knows No Borders. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so let us know what you think in the comment section. Click here to watch another interview from our podcast. You can also find us on your favorite podcast app. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community. Thanks for watching. Take care.